Excellent. No, you're not. See you. Always wonderful to see you. Who'd you come here with? I know. You're still up in Green Valley? Elizabeth Lake. Is it? It's considered Elizabeth Lake. What's Green Valley? It's more than that, but it's not far. For some reason I thought it was Green Valley. Good. Did you Linda, did you meet Linda Eber? She lives on San Francisco. Introduce yourself to her, yeah. She has a horse. So she lives in Mississippi. The woman right there in the bar. She lives in Mississippi. She lives in Mississippi. When you go up your street. All right, we'll see you. Happy Passover. Yeah, I am. What's your name? What's up? Oh, man. There it is. Wait, so you live out here? Or? Okay, yeah, because we have an 818 number. Thank you for coming. Thank you for lighting it up. Okay. That's awesome. Well, thank you for coming, bro.
I just had to say, you can't argue against something unless you can argue for it. So if someone says arguing against something, but I know what you're arguing about, I can argue with it. Or against it.
That's fantastic. Well, come in, sit down. We're gonna get started in a second. We're streaming already. We're online. Okay. Watch out, dude. You're gonna knock the table. Come on, man. You gotta make a big grand entrance. Boys, how are you? Up a little bit. Welcome, everybody. We're going to get started.
come on in, take a seat. Some people have already started drinking wine. You're going to have 4 cups anyways, so don't be in a rush. But we want to welcome everybody. We already are streaming, so we want to get started. There's people at home watching on YouTube and on Facebook, and we wish all of you who are here virtually, you can turn it down a little bit. You can get it down. Turn it down. So we are streaming this live, and so everybody who's joining us virtually, we want to thank everybody. Take it down. Yeah, take it down. We also have our friend Tyler, who's here from the Signal, taking some pictures, and he's going to be writing a story about what happens here tonight. I don't know what's going to happen here tonight. Every year it's a little different. Every year it's a different mix of people. This year we have about 20 or 30 people more than we had last year when we were here, which already was a very large group. So it's wonderful to have so many friends, family really, that are part of our Temple Beth Ami family. Some people are here for the first time, and we welcome you to a Temple Beth Ami event. We really want to start off by thanking a couple of people, especially the people here at the Senior Center who invited us back again to have the Seder here. So there's a lot of work that went on to make sure that we could get everybody here, bring everybody together. And for that, we're very grateful. And some of those people are still back in the kitchen. And I also want to thank my wife, Tracy, who did some of the cooking here tonight, but did a lot of the planning with other people from our community who helped get everybody here and bring everybody together. So tonight we're going to do some singing. We're going to do some of obviously the traditional prayers as we welcome everybody together. One of the first things we're going to ask everybody to do, I see a lot of people have already done it, is to fill up your first cup. Because in a moment we're going to do the first step of the Seder. Seder means order, and so there's an order, there's a structure to the Seder, but then of course there's chaos. Because like any Jewish event, there's things that happen, there's things that you don't expect. And most importantly tonight, hopefully you'll get to meet some new friends, you'll meet some new people who will be a part of your life, not just tonight, but beyond. So we're going to begin. Again, fill up your first cup. A couple of ounces minimum. You need like 2 ounces. But you don't need to fill it all the way up, especially if you're going to drive. We don't want anyone to say, well, I came from a Seder, I had to have 4 cups of wine. That's not going to get you out of jail. So please be careful. We're going to begin, though. Hopefully everyone has a Haggadah, has the book that we're going to use to help tell our story, to help celebrate the holiday. And we're going to light the candles for the Chag. You can find the candle lighting blessing on page 16. And I wanted to ask my wife, Tracy, to come up here. And again, thank you, Tracy, for all your hard work getting this ready. She's been here for the last 4 hours, making sure everything was ready. And on page 16, you can find the blessing for lighting the candles. On page 16, you can find the blessing.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner v'tzivanu lehadlik ner v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel
also going to take a moment to say Shehachianu. Just below that is a blessing that we say, thanking God for preserving us in life, for helping us to reach this moment together. So the bottom, just below that, we'll sing Shehachianu.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה. Big long amen.
So if you turn to the next page, on page 18, is the blessing for our children and for our grandchildren and for our families and our parents and grandparents, the blessing of the generations, a blessing we've been saying for thousands of years. And so for the boys, for the men in our family, we say the blessing honoring and acknowledging our ancestors, going back to the patriarchs and matriarchs. First, Yesimcha Elohim ke'Ephraim v'chi Menashe. And for girls, for women in our family, we say, Yesimech Elohim kasara Rivka Rachel v'Leah. And for everyone, this blessing of protection and peace, Yevarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha, Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'yichunecha, Yisa Adonai panav elecha ve'asem lecha shalom. May God bless you and protect you. May God's light shine down upon you and be gracious to you. And may God reach out to you in tenderness and give you peace. And if you want to whisper a special prayer, think a special thought for your family, your friends, your circle. Just take a moment to think about them and bless them with shalom. So tonight, at the beginning of this Seder, we want to acknowledge something that's a little different this year. One of the things that makes this night different than all other nights and makes this Passover different than all Passovers that came before. Because tonight, as we celebrate and think about freedom, we acknowledge an unknown group of people, of our people, who are being held hostage. And we have no idea how many are alive. But from age 1 to age 85, there are people that are unaccounted for, and there are families in Israel that don't have their family members and friends at their Seder table. So tonight we have a seat, as people had around the world. Jews over the last couple of days have had a seat. We have an Israeli flag over that seat for our guest, who we're acknowledging now. We hope and pray for the release of all the hostages. And so this is a prayer adapted from some of the prayers that have been composed for this year's Passover. As we sit at our Seder table tonight to celebrate the exodus of our ancestors from slavery in Egypt, the words, "Let my people go," resonate in the depths of our souls. Our hearts are with our Israeli brothers and sisters who have been kidnapped by Hamas. The bitter taste of maror is on our tongues. Our tears are in the salt water. On this night of freedom, we cannot rejoice until every soul heartlessly held captive is released. Help us, God, to bring them home. Give Israel the strength, the wisdom, and the power to obtain the release of the hostages who are waiting and praying for deliverance. Until that day, watch over them. Let them know that they are not alone and are not forgotten. Fill them and their families with courage, perseverance, strength, and hope for the blessed day of freedom that is coming. We pray the seas will part, the hostages will walk free, and we will welcome a new time of peace for Israel. On that day, we will sing a new song to you, God, who frees the captives, a song of rejoicing and gratitude. May that day come soon. And so today, like I have for the last several months, this number 200 now, 200 days of captivity. Every day I put it on and I hope that it'll be the last day. And it reminds me and it reminds everybody that I come in contact with that we're thinking about them. And I have to tell you, in the months that I've been wearing this, I've never had anyone say anything negative back to me about it. And I've been in several cities. I've traveled around, and I've yet to have somebody say something that wasn't positive, that wasn't affirming. There are a lot of people in this country. I know you hear differently. I know we see the worst, but there are a lot of people who care about those hostages. So we think about them tonight. We also are recognizing the fact that there are people who are here tonight who've never been at a Seder before. We have several people that are in the process of conversion, that are celebrating the first Passover. I'm not going to have them stand up or acknowledge them like that, but they are new to our community, new to the faith. And I want to tell you, you picked an amazing time to join the Jewish people. No, I mean, that in all seriousness, this is an amazing thing that's happening right now. And it's something that you should know. That in the conversion classes around the country, especially here, I have my pulse a little bit more on the classes here at UJ. And there are a couple people, or AJU, there are a couple people here who are part of that classes, on different tracks, by the way, who haven't met each other. But I want you to know that they have never had more people going through conversion classes than they do right now. Right now. They had one class that had to be split into two classes because they had so many people in the class. So that's also happening right now. In the midst of all of this negativity, all of the darkness, that's happening right now. So you should know that and know that that's real, and that's happening even right here in this room tonight. So I also want to acknowledge a special guest who's here with us tonight. He's not here as a campaign stop. I will recognize him because he was at High Holidays with us worshiping, because this is his community, and we're, well, I can say we're at least a synagogue for him. I don't know if, I won't want to say that we're his only synagogue, because he can go any synagogue he needs to. But Kip Muller is here tonight. He's running for state senate, and as I joked with him at High Holidays, he has the most Gentile name of any Jewish person I've ever met. But it is part of our pride and our again, we're very proud of him and what he's doing and how he's trying to serve our community. So thank you, Kip, for joining us, and we wish you a lot of blessings. And we're going to do a blessing right now over the wine that I told you have to pour a cup for, wine or if you have grape juice on your table. We're going to sing a first Kiddush, which you can find on page 24. This is a blessing for starting out the Seder, starting out this journey together. So we're going to do Borei Pri Hagafen, this blessing, followed by the longer special version. We're not going to do this every Kiddush, but the opening Kiddush has a special blessing for this holiday, for the season of liberation, a special time for us, of course, the season of springtime. Ready?
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, Borei Pri Hagafen. Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol ha'am v'romemanu mikol lashon, v'akidshanu b'mitzvotav, v'atiten lanu Adonai Eloheinu b'ahava, modim l'simcha, hagim uzmanim l'sason, et yom hag hamatzot hazeh, zman cherutenu mikra kodesh, Zecher l'tziad Mitzrayim, kivanu v'charta ve'otanu kidashta mikol ha'amim, u'moadei kodshecha b'simcha u'sason hinchaltanu, Baruch atah Adonai, mekadesh Yisrael ve'hazmanim. L'chaim, everyone, l'chaim. So, after officially completing our first step of Kadesh, our next step is one that doesn't require a blessing. Actually, it's significant because it has no blessing, which is the washing of the hands. This is a hand washing because we're about to have our first food. So if you want to get your first food ready, that is the karpas, that is the parsley. And we have the parsley accompanied by the salt water, which is the symbol of our tears. So we're going to take the symbol of springtime and we're going to dip it into the symbol of our tears. So again, we wash our hands because we're about to eat food, but we're not having any matzah yet. So We don't say a blessing. And now as we take our karpas, if you look on page 30, our page 30 of the Haggadah, this is our first food. We say the blessing over fruit of the earth. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri ha'adamah. Now, if you want, you can also take an egg, one of the hard-boiled eggs. You can have one of the eggs. The tradition is not to have any matzah yet to eat, but we are going to break the middle matzah for this third step, yachatz. Fourth step. So we're going to put a little bit aside, half of this matzah aside for the afikomen. And you can see we have a special afikomen bag to keep it sanitary, to keep it together. Because we do not want to break this afikomen till the end. So kids, you will look for this afikomen. We're going to hide it. And we do have prizes for the people that find the afikomen. So we are going to hide the afikomen. And this is what it looks like. You're not looking for some random piece of matzah. It is in a bag that literally says afikomen on it. So you can find this bag and claim your prize when you find that afikomen. But there's a lot more to do before that. That was the breaking of the middle matzah. But now, as we turn to page 36, what?
Oh no. Dad, you spilled. Dad.
Oh no. That really is a spill. Sorry. 34.
Oh my God.
Dang. I spilled. All right, we're going to sing Halach Ma. Our matzah, this matzah, is a bread of affliction. It's a bread of poverty. Now we're going to turn it into something very special because it's going to be our bread of freedom. But we're going to sing Halach Ma on page 34. I think it's 34.
I have it as page 36.
It's 36, yeah,
Wherever.
thanks. 36. It's okay. So now as we get into the Magid, to the portion of the Seder where we tell the story, one of the important things in telling the story, of course, is to remind everyone who is hungry to come in and eat. That's what Halach Ma in Aramaic tells us, that everyone who is needing a place to come in. And we want to make sure everyone has a place, not just tonight, but every night. And that's one of the reasons why we work in conjunction with our shelter here, Bridge to Home, why we work in conjunction with the Senior Center to make sure that Meals on Wheels are here. We made sure that Every senior who needed to have a Seder meal had one delivered, which we've been doing for the last few years, thanks to the Petrie family and their mitzvah project that turned into an ongoing mitzvah. And as we come now, and we're going to ask all the kids to come up here and help us. On page 40, we're going to continue with the 4 questions, because one of the ways we tell the story is having the kids ask questions to engage us and to help us tell the story. So kids, I need you to come up here. I need all of our young people to come up here to help us with Mani Shana. Now, don't all run up here at once. But kids, come on up. We need your help. Page 40. Come up. Kids. I'm going to make you do it.
Come close.
Come on. Come over here,
I
kids.
want to sing it with you.
Come over on this side. Sandy, are you going to come?
Yes.
Okay.
Can you hold your mic up a little bit or move your mic?
I know there's more
We're having
kids than
trouble
this.
hearing you.
Come on.
Come. All right, page 40. We're going to do the 4 questions now. Oh, my goodness.
Look
Did you get
at
to
all
practice?
these kids. You guys want to? Who's ready? Who's going to sing it the loudest? Here we go. Man ishtana halayla hazeh mikol halelut, mikol halelut, shebechol halelut, anu oklin hameitzu matzah, hameitzu matzah, halayla hazeh, kulo matzah. Halayla hazeh, kulam matzah, shebechol halelot, anu ochlin, she'ah yerakot, halayla hazeh, maror, halayla hazeh, maror. Okay, which kids are actually singing? Okay, so parents, you have to help them. Okay, is it okay if your parents help you? All right. 3rd verse.
3rd one.
Shebechol halelot ein anu mapilin, afilu ba'am echad, halayla hazeh, shetei ve'amim, halayla hazeh, shetei ve'amim, shebechol halelot, anu ochlin, ben yoshvinu vein mesubim, halayla hazeh, kulanu mesubim, halayla hazeh, kulanu mesubim.
He's too old, huh? He's too old. Thank you, guys. Thank you, kids. Thank you. So, we like to remind people that there really aren't 4 questions. There's 4 answers, 1 question. But for some reason, we've been saying it for a long time, that these are the 4 questions. But really, there's 1 question. Mani Shana Halayla Hazeh. Why is this night different? And then we ask, we answer the question, and then we ask more questions about, okay, so if these are the 4 things that make it special, why? Why do we do these things? So that's what we do for the next part of the Magid. We explain that. We tell the story. So one of the things that we do, of course, is we sing it and we tell it and we ask questions. And if you turn with us now to page 44, one of the things that we, of course, always remind ourselves is that the story, we started out as slaves and we get to be free. Now, of course, that's a little bit complicated because some of us are not really, really free. And there are, as we mentioned, people tonight who actually are not being treated in any way, shape, or form as free people. I also, by the way, for years celebrated Passover Seders with people in prison, which is really kind of amazing because you think, how do people in prison celebrate Passover? How do you talk about freedom when you're actually incarcerated? So there's a lot of different ways to understand this. But one of the things we also understand is even if we're not physically enslaved, even if we're not behind bars, even if we're not being held somewhere, there are all ways that we need to really, truly be free. We think about those things that keep us from being the people that we're supposed to be, that God wants us to be. And so we think about that freedom and that liberation, that kind of bondage, that type of place where we're at, where we're not our best selves. So we're going to think about that too this Passover. And on page 44, we're going to sing a song, Avadim Hayinu. We used to be slaves, and now, hopefully, we can work towards freedom. Ta b'nei chorin. So on page 44, it's towards the middle of the page.
Avadim hayinu hayinu, ata b'nei chorin, avadim hayinu, ata b'nei chorin, avadim hayinu, ata b'nei chorin, ata b'nei chorin.
If you look with us on page 46, one of the things that we remember too at Seder is that this time, this year, even though Seder means something different to us this year, every year Passover means something different to the people who gather to celebrate. One of the Seders that was celebrated 1900 years ago was a Seder in Bnei Brak, where Jews were fighting against the Romans, and they used that Seder to plan their rebellion, what we call the Bar Kokhba rebellion. About 81 years ago to be precise, the Jews of Warsaw used that Passover evening to plan and start the Warsaw Ghetto Uprising. It started on Passover in 1943. So Passover always is an inspiration to us, always gives us things to think about, and every year it's different for us because we're different people. So when we go through Passover and telling the story, we also understand that not only are we different, but the people around us are all different, and they're going to see different things in the story. If you'll join with us in the next on the next set of readings that we're going to do, which are the readings of the four children. So the four sons, or the four children, we always do this as a play, and it actually begins on page 58. Page 58. And the four children last year was special for us, really special for us. How many people were here last year for Passover? So last year, that's a lot of people, right? But last year, something really wild happened when we did the four children. The family that we tasked with doing this, which is now over there, the larger Neil Scott group of people, and the Moti family, and everybody who's part of this wonderful family, they were last year doing the four sons, as we have the last few years. And what I had said to them was that there's four sons, but they only have three sons. And that night, Haiti pulled out the ultrasound of their fourth son. So we actually did a baby reveal at that, and now that child is here. So this Seder is definitely different. You see him in the back right there. So he's got a part this year. So he's the fourth son now. But this is really that was an amazing, memorable moment when we had that reveal. So this is very special for us that this year there are four Scott sons, but we're going to have them do it. But we're all going to take part in this little play because again, each one of us is one of these four sons. The easy thing to say is that these four sons are different people, but we also can kind of understand it that they're all part of who we are. So on page 58 is where we're going to start, and we're going to start over here with the narrator. Who's going to be the narrator tonight? You volunteered, Haiti, but Haiti, you get to be the narrator. So narrate for us.
The Torah alludes in various places to four types of children: one wise, one wicked, one simple, and one who does not know how to ask. What does the wise child say?
All right. Who's our wise? Which one of the Scott kids is going to be the wise child tonight?
What are the testimonies, the statutes, and the laws which the Lord your God has commanded you?
Excellent. And that's our next one to be bar mitzvah, right? Oh, yeah. So, what does the first parent say to that child?
We do not proceed to any afikomen, dessert or dinner or celebration, after eating the Pesach lamb.
What does the wicked child say? Skylar, what are we going to do? I was going to let Skylar pick. But okay. You've been nominated to be the wicked child today, Grayson. I don't know. I don't know about that.
Whatever this service mean to you.
To you, right? But he says it like, to you. Right? So, our second parent. Oh, I have to do that first part. Oh, sorry. The child emphasizes you and not himself. Since that child excludes himself from the community and rejects a major principle, this you're actually supposed to do this, Haiti, but of faith, you should set his teeth on edge and say to him,
"It is because of this that the Lord did for me when I went free from Egypt, me and not him. Had he been there, he would not have been redeemed."
Yes. Thank you. So next, we get to the simple child. The simple child. Well, I guess, well, no, we have to give it to Riley. Oh, no. He's the one who doesn't know how to ask.
What is this?
What is this? All right. So, you should say to that child, Moti?
And you shall say to that child, by a mighty hand the Lord brought us out of Egypt, out of the house of bondage.
Now you can say it in Hebrew. V'amarta alav.
Tama Omer?
V'amarta alav. B'chazak.
Hold on. ואמרת אליו, בחוזק יד הוציאנו אדוני ממצרים מבית עבדים.
Isn't that amazing? That guy learned Hebrew at our Hebrew school, Temple Beth Ami. It's amazing. But as for the child who does not know how to ask, you should prompt him. As it is said, you shall tell your child on that day, saying, you got to tell your child. Let me see this child here. Oh my gosh, look at him, he's awake. He's awake. What do you have to say to him?
It is because of this that the Lord did for me when I went free from Egypt.
Oh my gosh. Look at his beautiful face. He wasn't even here last Passover, and now he's here. He was inside. He's outside. It's amazing. He's a gorgeous son. What? He got free. That's right. He's free. Anyways, Haiti, you're feeling better? Good. Very good. She's all ready. So she's got 4 sons to go back home to, so she needs all her energy. So that's amazing. Thank you, guys. Thank you to the Scott table. It's a table that's increased this year. Thank you, guys. So that is the 4 children. You can see some of the pictures of the 4 children. They're really amazing when you see them in color, but these are beautiful illustrations of the 4 children, different artistic styles. So now we're going to get to telling the story, and we're going to skip ahead a little bit into the Haggadah. And if you join with us onto page 76, the bottom half of the page, we're going to sing a song now that is a really important one, especially this year. V'hi she'amda lavotenu. Now, some people are saying special prayers this year because in the last few days, even, there have been enemies that have come against us and against Israel, right? We've seen an entire barrage of hundreds of rockets launched at Israel just this month. We've seen Jewish students being attacked right now, today. And so we know that there are people who are trying to hurt us. There are people who have used Israel as an excuse for long-standing and unfortunately historical Jew hatred. And so now what we're going to do this time, at this moment, is remind ourselves that in every generation we've faced this and we have won. Vehisha Amda, at the bottom of page 76, this promise that has stood for us, for our ancestors throughout the generations, we will not be defeated.
Vehisha Amda, Lavotenu Velanu, Vehisha Amda, Lavotenu Velanu, Shelo Echod Bilvad, Oman Aleinu Lechalatenu, Shela Shebechol Davador, Omdin Aleinu Lechalatenu, Shela Shebechol Davador, Omdin Aleinu Lechalatenu, Ve'akodosh Baruch Hu, Matzilenu Mi'adam, Ve'akodosh Baruch Hu, Matzilenu Mi'adam.
Now, if you join with us on page 78, this is the text from the Torah that we use as an explanation every year to frame our journey. Arami Oved Avi. My ancestor was a wandering Aramean. He descended to Egypt and resided there in small numbers. He became a nation, great, powerful, and numerous. The Egyptians treated us badly. They persecuted us and put us under hard labor. We cried out to the Lord, the God of our ancestors, who heard our voice. God saw our persecution, our toil, and our oppression. God took us out of Egypt with a strong hand and an outstretched arm, with awesome power, signs, and wonders. God brought us to this place and gave us this land, a land of milk and honey. Now that I have brought the first fruits of this soil, which you, God, gave me. And according to Deuteronomy, Devarim, Kitavo, the Torah tells us these are the words that someone would say when they would come and bring their first fruits, their offering at the holiday. They would bring their fruits and they would say in a great offering of thanksgiving, thank you, God, for bringing us out. And of course, as we just read in the 4 children, as the Scotch reminded us, that God brought us out of the land of Egypt, right? It wasn't just that God redeemed my ancestors, but God redeemed me and everyone in my generation too. And every year we say the same thing. God took us out of the land of Egypt. Again, we read it here in Deuteronomy. For thousands of years we've been saying the same words. If you look ahead into this text, it talks a little bit about what that means. This is what's called the Great Midrash of the Haggadah. But I want you to take a look at some very important things here, which are especially appropriate for today. If you look on page 84, you can see what did it mean for our ancestors. They were a great nation, a nation great and powerful. We emerged at an incredible pace in the land of Egypt. We grew so fast in the land of Egypt. The children of Israel were fruitful and swarmed. They multiplied and became very, very powerful. The whole land was filled with them. Now you can imagine when the Egyptians saw that, they were scared. And you look down below, it says the Egyptians treated us badly. They persecuted us and imposed hard labor on us. And we know that this labor, this work that we had to do for them, was soul-crushing work. It was work that humiliated us and took us away from our families. But if you look just at that last paragraph there, it said the Egyptians treated us badly. What does that mean? It means they badmouthed our loyalty. Pharaoh set the ominous tone in speaking to his people. Let us outsmart them so that they will not increase. Otherwise, in the event of war, they will join our enemies. They will fight against us and they will expel us from the land. And that line that the Jews will join against us with our enemies is exactly what the Nazis said in Germany in the 1930s when they badmouthed the Jews, and they said it even about Jews who had fought for them in World War I, and said that they will ally with the Russians, with the communists, and they will undermine our country. It's the same thing that people say in this country right now about us. There are people who badmouth us, who say we're not good Americans, or they say that we have dual loyalties, and they say that we don't love this country. We hear the same thing from some people here today. And so when we think about this anti-Semitism, this Jew hatred that we suffer with in our own day, comes from some of the same places. And so we think about it thousands of years ago, but we think about it now as well. And we think about the fact that we cannot let our guard down. Doesn't mean that everyone hates us, but it does mean that when we see Jew hatred, we call it out and we respond to it. If you look on the next page, on page 86, it says, of course, they put taskmasters and they conscripted us for labor, to persecute us with burdens. And again, the Torah tells us they built for Pharaoh the garrison cities of Pitom and Ramses. Now, what's interesting about that, of course, is that we did not build the pyramids for the Egyptians. We might have built a couple pyramids, but the great pyramids were already there for over 1,000 years when we were building things for the Egyptians. That's how long the Egyptians had already been powerful, and we were dealing with the most powerful, most advanced country at the time. But of course, as we know, when we cried out, if you look on page 88, we had to cry out to God. We had to take the first step, which was to cry out on our own behalf. Once we did that, then God responded. God heard our voice. As it says in Exodus, in the Torah, God heard the moans and God remembered the divine covenant with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And then, if you want to look ahead a little bit further, we're going to come to the 10 plagues. And it says on page 92 that God took us out of Egypt with a strong hand and an outstretched arm, with awesome powers, signs, and wonders. And again, we understand that to mean that God didn't take us out with an angel, with a messenger. Of course, there was Moses, who we don't talk at all about during Passover. His name is really not in the Haggadah. Instead, it talks about us. It talks about God. The focus is not on Moses. It's on redemption, and it's not on one person. But we also always talk about the 10 plagues. And if you'd look with us here on what it means to look at these 10 plagues, on page 96, actually, no, we're going to turn to the recitation of the plagues, which you can find on the page that it says. And we actually have it on your tables. Oh, they don't. Some people do. I'm going to share them with people, which is the list of the 10 plagues. It's on page 98. And so here is a little coaster I'm going to pass out to the tables, which actually has the 10 plagues on them, so that you can see, as we're going to say these 10 plagues, we're going to take a little bit out of our cup. So make sure you have wine in your cup, because we're about to have a second cup of wine, but you need to make sure that you have a cup. Here you go. And you can put the plagues on this coaster or on your plate. Don't put them on the Haggadah, because we need to use that Haggadah next year. So on page 98, we're going to see the list of the plagues. And this is a really important ritual. As we take out a little bit of our cup of joy, we diminish our cup of joy by remembering the suffering of the Egyptians. Again, the list is on page 98. So as we do this ritual, as we take out a little bit from our cup, yeah, you can use your finger, you can use a utensil, whatever you feel comfortable doing. People have different traditions. You're not supposed to lick your finger, afterwards, because it's got the plagues on it. That was a superstition that people had. You're not supposed to lick your finger after you're done. But what I want people to think about this year is you take out a little bit from your cup of joy. Before we say them, just for a moment, some of you might have seen last weekend the article that I wrote for The Signal about this ritual we're about to do. Because this year in particular, again, thinking about our lives and what we're living with right now, for thousands of years we've remembered the suffering of the Egyptians. They were our enemies, they enslaved us, they killed us. But yet, innocent Egyptians suffered. And so when we take out a little bit of our cup, we're remembering that innocent Egyptians suffered. And we don't celebrate when our enemies die or they suffer. That's the difference. That's the value that we have as Jews. And so this year, the point of the article was saying that we've watched tremendous suffering for innocent Palestinians over the last months. There's no doubt about it. They've suffered under a very cruel dictatorship. They've been part of a corrupt system that has stolen from them and taken away their freedom. But yet they're suffering, and they've been suffering during this last several months and dying. And it's exactly what happened to the Egyptians with the plagues. And so it's okay. It's probably, again, something we should all be thinking about every day too, that innocent people are dying. You can hold both things at the same time, to pray for the release of the hostages and for Israel to be victorious in this war against Hamas, and also pray for the suffering to end for the innocent Palestinians who are dying right now. That's what we do every time at Passover. We take out a little bit of our cup. So now we're going to remember the innocent people who suffered and even the innocent people who are suffering right now. And so as we say these plagues, and again, this is why we can't lose this war, because this value we have for human life is what we're fighting about. Because we're fighting against a system that celebrates death, and that has to end. So as we take out a little bit of our cup, let's recite the plagues. And again, on page 98, we say them in Hebrew and in English. Dam, blood. Sfardea, frogs. Kinim, lice. Arov, wild beasts. Dever, cattle plague. Shechin, boils. Barad, hail. Arbeh, locusts. Choshech, darkness. Makat bechorot, the death of the firstborn. So, on page 99, we're going to sing another song. This is a song that is not part of the traditional Seder, but it's one that I've been doing as part of my family Seders for a long time, since I can remember. Let My People Go, which is an African-American spiritual. It took the words of the Torah, let my people go, and reminded people in our country that they were not going to be slaves forever. So I was thinking about, I mentioned this last night, my wife's from England, so she didn't grow up with this song because this wasn't part of their culture. It wasn't part of the experience of being in England. But in America, this was part of our history. And so we also remember slavery in our own country and how people who were slaves were inspired by our promise of freedom. So this is Let My People Go. You can find it on page 99.
I really want everybody to sing this with all their heart because we have to let the people go. Let our people go and be home. When Israel was in Egypt land, let my people go. Oppressed so hard they could not stand. Let my people go. Go down, Moses, way down in Egypt land. Tell Lord Pharaoh, let my people go. Thus said the Lord, bold Moses said, let my people go. If not, I'll smite your firstborn dead. Let my people go. Go down, Moses, way down in Egypt land. Tell Lord Pharaoh, let my people go. No more shall they in bondage toil. Let my people go. Let them come out with Egypt more time. Let my people go.
So we're going to, again, thinking about what Passover means, thinking about it this year. But in previous years, I remember as a kid thinking about the rescue of Ethiopian Jews, bringing them into freedom. Soviet Jews, for most of my childhood, actually until adulthood, we always said prayers for the Jews of the Soviet Union, praying for their freedom. And now they're at our Seders now, thankfully. And they're at Seders in Israel. And they're at Seders in Russia or Ukraine now. Some of them are saying Passover, the same Passover prayers in bomb shelters in Ukraine. So it always changes, but some things, I guess, we're still not at yet, which is the time when everyone can be free. On page 104, we're going to turn to one of the songs that we traditionally do at Passover, which is a time for us to think about all the miracles that we have in our lives. We sing Dayenu, and we say, if we had just left Egypt, that would have been enough. Or maybe we could say, if we had just been given the Shabbat as a gift, that would have been enough. Or if we were just given the Torah, that would have been enough. But the Dayenu has a lot more. And we can add our own personal Dayenus, the things that we have that we would say, if only I had that, that would have been enough. But then I got something else. And think about those things you'd say Dayenu for. So we're going to sing Dayenu. We're going to do a couple verses. We're going to do Hotzianu Mimitzrayim, that God brought us out of Egypt, that God gave us Shabbat. Natan lanu et Shabbat, and then also Natan lanu et Torah, that God gave us the Torah. So this is Dayenu, which I think you'll pick up. If you don't know it, you'll pick it up hopefully pretty quick.
We're going to start with the chorus, the rousing chorus of 190 people singing at the top of your lungs. Da-da-enu, da-da-enu, da-da-enu. Hotzianu Mimitzrayim, Hotzianu Mimitzrayim, Dayenu. Everybody, Dayenu, 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 Dayenu. Ilum Natan Natalanu Natalanu et Shabbat Natalanu et Shabbat Dayenu. Even louder. Dayenu, 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 oh Dayenu, 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 Dayenu. Ilum Natan Natalanu Natalanu et Torah Natalanu et Torah Dayenu, 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 Dayenu.
So Kip, is that the way they sing it in Sacramento? It is, yeah. This is Sacramento. They're familiar with that melody in Sacramento. So yeah, I think that's like the worldwide Jewish melody. But again, it's a great message. It's a great thing to think about how many blessings we have in our lives. So we're going to now explain what's on our Seder plate. But we also, of course, have to explain what's in the Bible, because some of the things we are eating have been eaten all the way back to Egypt, right? But some of the things are more modern additions, in the sense that they're only 2,000 years old instead of 3,000 years old. But if you look on page 110, Pesach Matzah Maror, Rabban Gamliel, who lived 2,000 years ago, said, we got to explain the things that are actually in the Torah. He said, Pesach, al Shuma. Why do we have this Pesach? Why do we eat this Passover offering? Now, we don't do that anymore, but we have a couple things on our Seder plate that reminds us of that. We have a beet on our table because we're vegetarian folk. And so the beet represents the Pesach offering. It's just one of the many treats that we enjoy as vegetarians. So, no, that does not make up for a nice juicy lamb, but that's what we do for the Pesach. But some people have a shank bone, and it's the Passover lamb. It's the Passover offering. It's the offering that we ate at this time when we had a temple. And again, why? Because it was the first night in Egypt where we had that offering and we took the blood and put it on our doorpost, and God passed over those homes that had the blood and spared them. So one of the questions that we sometimes get asked is, what if you were an Egyptian who saw the Jews after the 9 other plagues, seeing the Jews putting a little blood on your door? How many of the Egyptians decided, maybe I'll put a little bit of blood on my door and I'll be spared this 10th plague? Might have happened. Might have happened. You never know. And so you could see that. And by the way, we have a mezuzah on our doorpost now to kind of remind us of that special Passover. That's one of the reasons why a mezuzah goes on our doorpost, to remind us of that miracle. And guess what? There are thousands of people who are not Jewish now who put mezuzahs on their door. Right? Right? It happens. And so why are people doing that? They like the tradition. They like the idea of having a mezuzah on their door. You can do it. Matzah, if you look on page 112, matzah al shuma. Why do we have matzah? And again, some of us ask that question after 1 or 2 days of eating matzah. Why am I eating this crazy bread? Why do we eat it? Well, of course, it's the dough that didn't rise. As we left Egypt, it did not have a chance to become leavened. And so we have this food that reminds us of that unleavened bread that we had in Egypt. But it becomes a bread not of poverty, but of freedom. And so that's why we have the matzah. Now, the last thing that we have on our Seder plate today that was also in the Torah is horseradish or bitter herb or whatever people use. We have got a little horseradish on our plates. And the horseradish, you have a mixture of horseradishes there. But why do we have the maror? Why do we have the bitter herb? To remind us that the Egyptians embittered our lives as slaves. All right? So that is the maror. Now we have some other things on our plates. We have the charoset, which we're about to eat, which reminds us of the mortar, right? We also have an egg on a Seder plate that reminds us of usually roasted egg on the outside to remind us of the sacrifice, but also it's a symbol of springtime. It's a symbol of potential. We also have the parsley, a symbol of springtime, which was not mentioned in the Torah, but we've been using for thousands of years. Turn with me, if you will, to page 114. One of the last things that we say as we tell the story is this very important line. Bechol dor vador, hayav adam lirod et atzmo ki'ilu hu yatsa miMitzrayim. In every generation, it's incumbent on us to feel like we were the ones who left Egypt. Not that our ancestors left Egypt, but that we left Egypt. We were redeemed in Egypt. So, take a moment now, quietly, and just imagine you yourself leaving Egypt. Not your ancestor, not somebody in a movie, but you yourself leaving Egypt. Just take a moment to think about that. Bechol dor vador. So now, we're going to have a toast to freedom. And the tradition we have is to sing some of the Psalms, to sing some of Tehillim. And if you look on page 120, the psalm that we're going to do right now, before we drink this cup, is to sing B'tzeit Yisrael. Psalm 114 on page 120. B'tzeit Yisrael. When we left Egypt, even the mountains jumped up and down in excitement for our freedom. So on page 120, we sing this psalm, one of our great psalms of Hallel.
בצאת ישראל ממצרים, בית יעקב מעם לועז. בצאת ישראל ממצרים, בית יעקב מעם לועז. היתה יהודה לקודשה, ישראל ממשלותיו. הים רב, נוף, דין יסיף ויחור. בצאת ישראל ממצרים, בית יעקב מעם לועז. בצאת ישראל ממצרים, בית יעקב מעם לועז. ההרים רקדו לחלים, גבעות כבני צאן. ההרים רקדו לחלים, גבעות כבני צאן. בצאת ישראל ממצרים, בית יעקב מעם לועז. בצאת ישראל ממצרים, בית יעקב מעם לועז.
If you'll join with us now on page 122. On page 122, we're going to do the second Kiddush, this cup of redemption, this cup as we conclude telling the story. And again, thinking about the story right now. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher ga'alnu v'ga'al et avotenu mimitzrayim. We bless you, God, who redeemed us and our ancestors out of Egypt. We thank you, God, the Redeemer of Israel. Baruch atah Adonai Ga'al Yisrael. And at the bottom of page 122, we can sing the Kiddush for the second time.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Amen.
L'chaim, l'chaim. Well, that's our first two cups. And in a moment now, we're going to eat officially our matzah together. Say the blessing over it. So I'm going to wash my hands, and then we're going to say the blessing over the matzah on page 124. Page 124. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al netilat yadayim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al achilat matzah. We thank you, God, for this mitzvah of eating matzah for Passover. You just performed a mitzvah by eating that. And if it wasn't a mitzvah, I wouldn't have done it. But we also have a mitzvah of eating something else. This is a mitzvah to eat maror. So on your table, you have maror, you have the bitter herb. And we're going to have a moment, you can have the raw maror. There's a little cup with raw maror in there, the horseradish, the real horseradish root. Or you can have a little bit of the creamed horseradish. If you're old school. If you want to do both, you can just dip the maror, the horseradish root into the maror to really get a good taste of it. But on the next page, you'll see the blessing of maror. We're going to say the blessing over maror. And again, this is another mitzvah. So on page 126, you can see this blessing. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al achilat maror. Whoa. Oh yeah. Now, the next thing we're going to eat on page 128 is not a Torah commandment, but it goes back to the time of the temple, the second temple, what we call the Hillel sandwich. And for those who studied Pirkei Avot with us the last couple of months, we read a lot of Rabbi Hillel's statements. His most famous one that they put here is the famous line, "Imein ani li mili," if I'm not for myself, who will be for me? You can see those lines that he said of Rabbi Hillel. Let's see, I think it's on it's on this page about the Hillel sandwich. But in a moment, we're going to eat our meal. So if you want to take a little bit of the charoset, a little bit of that mortar, and add to it the maror on our matzah, we make the Hillel sandwich. And again, there's no blessing for it, but we remember this tradition of eating all of the bites together. The Pesach, the matzah, and the maror, all in one bite. And so the Pesach is represented by the charoset now. So, we are now going to officially eat. This is the part of the Seder we call a Shulchan Orech, where we actually eat from a missing cell phone. Is anyone missing a cell phone? Wendy?
Somebody left a cell phone in the men's room.
Yeah.
I'm going to give directions. We're going to release by table.
Okay. Here we go. Take the mic.
I'm not out here. So.
Take the mic. Go by the mic.
Well, they're not out, the staff not out. All right. I don't like talking to a mic, and now I'm on camera. All right. So we're going to release. We have 2 buffet stations tonight. One where Wendy is, and one on the other end. We have a soup station at each area. The soup is vegetarian. For those that if you ordered vegetarian, your food will get brought to you at your table. And we've got, as most of you ordered, whether you wanted brisket or chicken, so that is all up there, potatoes and carrots. And your servers will come and help clear, but I will release by table so we don't have too many lines. But are you guys ready? Are we ready? 2 minutes.
Okay, Wendy.
Okay, sing a song.
Oh, Wendy. So, Wendy, you're back on. You get to do one song.
One more song, Wendy. What song? Anyone?
One of the Prosperity songs.
One of the funny ones?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. It's there? Where did I buy it? Amazon. Yeah.
All right, folks. Let me go back on. Yeah. So we're going to sing one song before we eat our food. The last thing we're going to eat tonight is the afikomen, which we have not hidden yet. It's right here. So you need to keep your eyes on it, kids. But this is a song about the afikomen.
All righty. Everyone must join in on the chorus of this song, and there's a little story to be told. My dad at every Seder breaks a matzah piece in 2 and hides the afikomen in half, a game for me and you. Find it, hold it ransom, for the Seder isn't through till the afikomen's gone. Don't sit on the afikomen. Don't sit on the afikomen. Don't sit on the afikomen, or the meal will last all night. One year daddy hid it neath the pillow on a chair, but just as I raced over, my Aunt Sophie sat down there. She threw herself upon it, awful crunching filled the air, and the crumbs flew all around. Everybody sing with me. Don't sit on the afikomen. Don't sit on the afikomen. Don't sit on the afikomen, or the meal will last all night. There were matzah crumbs all over. Oh, it was a messy sight. We swept up all the pieces, though it took us half the night. So if you want your Seder ending sooner than dawn's light, don't sit on the afikomen. Everybody, don't sit on the afikomen. Don't sit on the afikomen. Don't sit on the afikomen, or the meal will last all night.
So make sure that you stay here for us to eat the afikomen, which will be after the meal. Remember, there's 4 steps. 4 steps after the meal. So don't go anywhere after you're done. We need
All
you.
right, so we're going to release some tables, but I do want to thank Gina. Can you wave? Because I may not get a chance to do this again. So Gina oversees the Senior Center here, and I want to thank her and her team before we eat for helping us. So thank you. All right, so over here, table 1, 2, 3, and 4, and in the back, table 18, 19, 20, and 21, and then we'll go after that.
Oh, I want soup. Happy Passover.
Mama, what's that? After do we go there?
Because God right there didn't raise time.
If you're a savage, what is it? If any of you, let me see. If any down, it's an astronaut. If anyone,
Yeah, switch with Aaron because you'll have green.
no. Is this butterfly?
Walk up here.
It's a.
You're gonna have to help the kids, I'm sure.
They got it. Oh, you guys only started, I got there in October. You
guys started driving in January or February, and I left May. So,
When's your next day at the base?
I don't know. I always find out like 2-3 days before.
I was like, no! Save me!
This one was my favorite.
Yes or no? Just give me a solid answer. We'll see.
I'm here against my will anyway, so I can't complain.
How was your Seder with Nancy last night?
They have an area where you can
Yeah.
Yeah, they had a parking lot like 2A, which I guess was the thing. And then I guess some people were, what we heard, they were like jumping the Ubers that came in and just get me out of here because it was taking so long.
That's what I heard. It takes forever.
Yeah, but again, it was the first night, so we thought we were going to be there at a certain time. Well, the main artist didn't even take the stage until like 11:30 midnight.
Scary.
You're not gonna eat? He said he's not hungry. I don't know if he's not feeling well, but whatever.
You don't even want a soup? Or are they
I know. I mean, like,
She's right.
she got her food already.
She's right there, but she actually went over to say hi to Andrea and oh my God, when I'm going blank. What? Andrea. She went to say hi to
Andrea's
Andrea.
husband.
And Marla. Andrea and Marla.
Marla Dreyfus.
Marla.
Oh.
Well, it's not anymore.
did? Okay, good.
I thought everyone would take them too. I would take all of them.
Somebody had seen him speaking.
Okay, I want that.
It's another survivor.
What?
Spoke out of
The cup.
and they started working on it together.
I'm glad that they came because it meant a lot to hear.
Isn't it amazing?
What they went through. And I say they lived for a reason.
Yes.
They lived to tell the story.
It's a different thing to see him right in front of you, isn't it?
It's
Because
certainly
we've all seen,
You're right. There's footage and that.
but when you hear it right in front of you,
Also, you hear something. They only tell you firsthand of the account of the story.
Rabbi,
It's all right. I'm not going to knock anybody over. But must be surprised if I grab something in front of you.
It's okay. You can go in front of me if you want.
No, I'm not. I'm not.
My husband's back there anyway.
Oh, okay. We'll come to your defense.
Go ahead.
No, it's all right.
No, go. I'll just go with my husband.
Yeah.
you guys are, I don't know. Feels like 120 years. It's 30 years.
Doing good. We had a good service tonight.
Thanks for being here.
It made sense. Moss is about death, and we're about life. And I agree with that. Rabbi, a big izin.
Yeah. You going on Sunday? The 28th? Isn't it? Yeah.
Really?
That's when we go with our group.
He's not going to go back then.
Yeah. No, our group is meeting at the house.
Oh.
Good. All right. What did Dad order? Can we get whatever we want? Or chicken and what? Oh, brisket? Yeah, I'm gonna have chicken. Yeah, I'd rather have chicken. I don't know why my allergies are so bad in LA.
So I think the rule is if once they're off and they're like squared up with each other, they can't stop, they can't break it up until they're all Yeah, and then, but I think if they're up and they're like fighting,
No, it looks like grape juice.
mainly for the ref
water
safety,
and
I don't
Coke.
think they break it up.
I
see, there
haven't
it
got
is.
any wine.
What?
There they go. No wine left for me.
I know. I wanted
Oh yeah, right here. Right here's what you're looking at. Yeah, but if no punches are being thrown, they'll break it up. I think that's the key. If they're just like up against each other, but no punches are being thrown, they'll try and break it up too. So it happened. Oh, he just like took him out. Nice.
I don't know. She's looking for vegetarian. went to go help somebody some last night. You know what? Believe it or not, I got the second hand, but it looks like a cheaper stuff.
Yeah, I just they want some more brisket. I'm coming.
you want to get? You are welcome to go up and get seconds. There is more up there. And if you want to do a suit, you could do that in another.
Nah, I don't.
make it that, have it.
All right, everybody, we've served dessert, and that means we need to find the afikomen, because that's the last thing we're supposed to eat. So kids, you can go look for the afikomen. It has been hidden, so go start looking for the afikomen. Okay, kids, don't all follow the same person. They may not be in the right place. It's not here. It's not at this table. This is not where it is, I will tell you that. All right.
Clip it on your shirt.
Yeah, no, I will.
It's really distorted that way.
All right. So is anybody still online watching?
It was 9 on Facebook and 4 on YouTube.
Yeah, and what about now?
But
All right. So there's still people watching on Facebook. I don't know why they're watching us eat, but there's still people watching on Facebook.
there's 5 on YouTube.
And there's people on YouTube watching us eat. We hope you've been eating while we've been eating or doing something. Happy Passover to everyone watching.
Just so you know, it is under that table. Just no one has gotten it yet.
All right, no one's found it yet. The kids have not found the afikomen. I will tell you, it is not that hard to find. What?
You might have to, I'll pour that. You might have to give them hot or cold. I'll do it. Go help them with that stuff.
No, they found it. Oh, it's been found. Jonah, did you get it?
Henry found it first. He found it first. He saw under it, and then Jonah found it first.
All right, kids, come on up. It was a group effort. So, and we have prizes for lots of people, including, okay, Jonah, you get to pick first. Pick what you want. All right. One of those?
What is that?
Here you go. Those are games. What do you want? Guys, take it and then get over so the next person can come. All right.
Can I get 2?
Yeah, you can get one other thing because you found it. Not.
Who was next?
Go.
Henry?
Jonah, go.
Jonah. Go ahead.
All right, go. Next person. Henry.
How much can you pick?
He got 2 because he found it. Everyone gets one thing.
You found what?
One thing. Yes, he found the matzah. Yeah. There are prizes for everybody. All right. All right. Come on. Next person. The next person's turn. And the next person. That is a puzzle game. Come. All right. We have to make sure we give everyone some of the afikomen. That is a puzzle. Okay. You can pick something. There's 3 things to pick
I
from.
don't want this. I'm gonna wait for this.
You want this?
No, I want this.
Okay. There you go. It is a puzzle where the instructions are in there. Okay? There you go. All right. All right. Trey. No. Just give it to a few people. Where's the mic? Yeah. I got it. All right, everybody. So, we're going to ask everyone to fill up your third cup. So that means we have 2 cups still to come. So we have a cup right now we're going to do for the Birkat Hamazon, for the blessing after meals. So make sure you have that cup. You're ready for wine or grape juice. There's grape juice over there too that you need. So we have a few people here. I went around and I got to say hi to a few people. We have a few people here who are from Sacramento. Raise your hand if you're from Sacramento, if you're some of the Sacramento people. There we go. So we have a lot of Sacramento's people here today. But one of the people who's from Sacramento, I mentioned, is my friend Kip. I just wanted to introduce him. I asked him to give you a Passover message. Kip, take it away.
All right. Hi, everyone. Thank you, Rabbi. I just want to say, first off, thank you for welcoming me here. It's true, I grew up in Sacramento, and my temple was a key part of my upbringing, really important, that community. And when I was 13, our temple was firebombed, if you remember, right after my bar mitzvah. And I think of this today, in the world that we live in today, that you can see the worst of humanity when something like that happens. But the way that the rest of the community came together, the imams, the bishops, we had the black, the Latino, the Asian communities all come together to scoop up ashes with shovels and rebuild our temple into the most beautiful temple now. I'd like to think that we live in a world today where we're going to have a chance to keep our heads held high, rally as a people, and come out from all of what's happening in the world stronger than ever before. So I'm so glad we're celebrating today. It's more important now than ever. Happy Passover to you all. Again, I'm Kip Muller, running for the state Senate seat, and it's nice meeting you all. Thank you for having me. Thanks.
So, and just so you know, for years we had the current state senator, who's a good friend, Scott Wilk, would be at our holiday events, and so this is there's not a partisan endorsement or anything like that. Just so you know, again, it's great to have people in our community that want to rise up for leadership, and that's inspiring to see somebody who makes me feel really old, Kip Muller. Anyways, so we're going to finish up. We passed around, Tracy, where's the afikomen? Who ate it? No, here, there's a few pieces. So we ended up having close to 200 people here for the Seder tonight, which is unbelievable. So thank you all for being a part of that community, this community that celebrated this year Passover together. So again, we have a tradition of offering thanks, especially now. We're offering thanks to God in the Birkat Hamazon after eating a little bit of the afikomen. The Birkat Hamazon is a chance for us to say thank you to God. But we also want to thank again the people here at the SCV Senior Center. We want to thank everyone here from Kevin McDonald, all the staff, the director who invited us to come back again this year, and all the staff who was here, and again, everyone who helped serve and help us. And I want to thank at this time, too, Wendy Hirsch, who has helped lead our Seders for so many years. I can't even count. And the reason why I can't even count it is because, as many of you know, this is my 25th anniversary. The very first thing I did for Temple Beth Ami was a Passover Seder in 2000, right around that time, was when I first came. And so this is the 25th year, the 25th Seder that I've been here for, that I've been blessed to be able to be a part of. And as you know, hopefully everybody, that in a couple of months, actually less than 2 months, we'll be in this room to celebrate. So that'll be June 9th. There's a flyer in the back. We want everyone to come back here for a night of fun. We have some comedians, some musicians, and we'll have food and drink. And it's the kind of stuff that my wife decided that she wanted to have things that I like to have, like a tiki bar and those kinds of things. Really, really fun things like that. So we hope you can be there for that. And it'll be right here in this very room on June 9th. So please join us. As we say the Birkat HaMazon, and as we have a chance to say thank you to God for the food that we have, on page 133, we're going to have a chance to say Birkat HaMazon. And we invite everyone to say it with the invitation at the top. I'm going to have my daughter Dina invite, who has some friends here with her tonight. She's going to invite everyone. Because we have way more than 3 people. On page 133.
Chaverai nevarech.
Yehi Shem Adonai mevarach me'ata ve'ad olam.
Yehi Shem Adonai mevarach me'ata ve'ad olam. Birshut Chaverai Eloheinu shelchanu mishelo.
Baruch shelchanu mishelo v'tuvo hayinu.
Baruch Eloheinu shelchanu mishelo v'tuvo hayinu. Baruch Shemo.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hazan et haolam kulo betuvo bechen bechesed uvrachamim unoten lechem lechol basar ki leolam chazdo uvtuvo hagadol Tamid lo chasar lanu ve'al yasar lanu az leholam vahed ba'avur shemo hagadol ki uzanu farnes lahakol umetiv lahakol umechin mazon lechol briotav asher bara baruch atah Adonai Hazan et hakol. Now we're going to continue on page 134. The next part of the Birkat HaMazon is a prayer for the land and for the food, as we thank God for the land and the climate and the environment that we need to have in order to have food. Now I will tell you, I'll make an honest admission right here. When I was a kid, I went to a Jewish day school, and that meant that every day we had to say the Birkat HaMazon at every meal. At lunchtime, we couldn't go out to lunch recess until we said the Birkat HaMazon, which meant we said it really, really fast because they wouldn't let us go out. Do they still do that at Heschel? Where's the Slavics? Are they still here? No, but he would tell you that I think they still do that. They make the kids. So I have a little trauma attached to that because I always wanted to go to PE. But I wanted to tell you, we still always want to be thankful. And that's the thing I guess I learned as a kid. On page 134 for the land and the food. Kakatu ve'achalta v'savata uverakta et Adonai Elohecha al ha'aretz hatova asher natan lach. Baruch atah Adonai al haaretz ve'al hamazon. And if you turn to page to the top of actually it's cut off in some of them. This Haggadah doesn't have it. Is the prayer for Yerushalayim, the prayer for Jerusalem, which is on page. My Haggadah didn't have it, but on page 135. It's very important for you to understand that every time we eat, every time we have a meal, we pray for Jerusalem, not just at a service, not just when we're at Passover thinking about Jerusalem and Israel. Every single time we eat, we say a prayer for Jerusalem and pray for it to be rebuilt in peace. On page 135, Uvene Yerushalayim ir hakodesh b'mehera v'yahameinu baruch atah Adonai bohoneh v'rachamav Yerushalayim. Amen. And then a blessing for goodness, for all the good things we have in our life. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, ha'el avinu malkeinu, adireinu boreinu, goaleinu yotzarenu, kedosh Yaakov, roeinu roe Yisrael, hamelech hatov vehameitiv lechol shebechol yom vayom, hu heitiv, hu meitiv, hu yetiv lanu, hu gemalenu le'ad, lecheinu lechesed, ulerachamim, ulerevach, hatzala, hatzlacha, beracha, vishua, nechama, parnasa, vechalkala, verachamim, vechayim, veshalom, v'kol tov, umihi kol tov, le'olam al yechasreinu. And so if you join us at the bottom of 135, Harachaman, may the merciful one. Harachaman, himochalenu le'am va'ed. Harachaman, hibarach b'shamayim uva'aretz. Harachaman, hu yishtabach ledor dorim. Ve'yit par banu la'adol netzach netzachim. Ve'yitar banu le'adol le'olme. Olamim harachaman, yishmor hu yifartzeinu bechavod. Harachaman, hu yishmor aleinu me'atzav areinu. V'hu yolchin k'martzeinu. Harachaman, hu yishlach baracha merubah b'bayit hazeh ve'al shulchan zeh shachalnu alav. May the merciful one bless everyone who ate in this room together and on this table that we just ate on. The bottom of 135. Harachaman, hu yishlach lanu et Eliyahu hanavi. Harachaman, hu yishlach lanu et Eliyahu hanavi zachor latov. Vivaser lanu lanu, vivaser lanu lanu, vivaser lanu besorot tovot. Yeshuot v'nechemot. And we want to also, on page 136, again, I know some of the Haggadot don't have this page, but on page 136, as we bless this day, this holiday, Harachaman, Yehu Yanchilidu Yom Shkulo Tov, Harachaman, a blessing for Israel, the nation of Israel, Hu Yarechet Medina Yisrael, Harachaman, Yashkin Shalom B'nei Ben B'nai Yaakov V'nei Ishmael. May there be peace between the sons of Jacob and the sons of Ishmael, between Jews and Arabs. Harachaman, hu yizkinu limot haMoshiach, u'lehei olam haba. May we be able to merit the coming of the Messiah, the Messianic age, and a place in the world to come. Migdol Yeshuot Malko ve'oseh chesed limshicho leDavid uleZaro adolam oseh shalom bimromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imeru. Amen. Amen. So now we're going to raise our cup for the third cup, the cup of Barech, of blessing. On page 137. You can find the Kos Shlishi, the third cup, as we say the Kiddush together, for thanking God for our food, for being together as one group, and for peace.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Amen.
Now, after having that great third cup, we have a tradition of having a little cup, which is our cup of slivovitz, which has been now poured, not for everybody yet. We'll pour some more. Oh, Dina's going to pass it around. All right, well, Dina, she's now over 21, so she can now officially deliver out the slivovitz. So this is plum brandy. This is a treat from the old country. And why is this kosher for Passover? Why is this so special? Because it's made out of plum. It's made out of fruit. It does not taste like any fruit. It tastes like gasoline. And this says it's made with plum. So there you go. It says plums. At one time we're here. So now we also have, we're going to pass out another bottle too. This is Marashka. This is from Croatia. And I mentioned before, I told this story that I went to their place in Croatia. I went to Croatia just to drink slivovitz. It's such a beautiful country. I don't remember it. I went to this factory, and we went to it. It was in a little town in Croatia, and I went there, and we were going to another place from there. And so I had to go first thing in the morning, like 9 o'clock, right when they opened. We looked in our travel thing, and 9 o'clock they opened. So I went into the shop, to the factory shop, and they had free samples. It was 9 o'clock in the morning. And I said, tell me I'm the first person here today to have slivovitz. And they said, no, the town drunk was already here. And I said, but I'm the first foreign-born person to come here. And they said, you are the first foreign-born person to come here today. And I proceeded to try their different kinds of slivovitz. And as I told them, it's 5 o'clock somewhere. It was probably 5 o'clock in my house. So anyways, we're going to 5 o'clock in the morning. So we're going to pass out some more slivovitz, and we'll do a l'chaim. And again, one of the things that we're going to do now is sing a couple songs. So we need to make sure that you're ready to sing. This slivovitz will open up your singing ability. So on page 140, we have a tradition of welcoming in Elijah. And one of the things that we want to do is obviously pray for a time of peace. So we'll actually welcome Elijah. We have a cup poured for him. And hopefully this is the year that Elijah comes to us. We're ready. We have the cup ready for him. And we also have a cup ready for Miriam, the prophet, which is another important thing to remember the women of Jewish history, starting with Moses' sister, but even before that, women who helped preserve our people. So this is a tradition of also welcoming in Miriam Haneviyah, Miriam the prophet. So we'll sing Eliyahu Hanavi. As we face the door, we welcome in the Eliyahu. So please rise and face the door and welcome in Elijah with us. Thank you, everybody. Again, we're praying for a time of peace, so everyone can be seated. We're going to make sure you have a fourth cup, your last cup filled, because this is a time for singing and celebrating the end of the Seder. So this is the end. But before we finish up, again, I know some people have to leave, but before everyone clears out, I want to make sure that we also recognize some very special friends who are here tonight from the Signal. We want to thank the Budman family that's here. They've been very, very supportive of our community, of the things that go on at Temple Beth Ami. And again, we're very grateful for their place, their role that they play in our temple community, but also in the general community as being a voice for our community. So thank you to the Budmans who are over there. Thank you very much for all you do for our community. And my friend Lauren, who went on our last birthright trip to Israel, which is hard to believe was now 7 years ago. Seth Kazwan was on that trip, a few other people who were on our trip. They have family who was here, but Lauren was actually with us. Very special trip to Israel. So, as we fill up our fourth cup and get ready to sing our last few songs here tonight, we need everyone's participation. Does everyone who wants, raise your hand if you did not get a Slivovitz. We have a lot of people. We have 200 people that we're getting Slivovitz to. So I know that there's still some people who don't have the Slivovitz, but... and you may regret that you had it, but I never promised it was good. I just said it was really strong. It doesn't mean that it's good. But our ancestors drank it in Eastern Europe. Whew. All right, here we're coming around with some Slivovitz. Yeah, we'll drink a l'chaim as soon as we have it all poured. But, we want to mention one other thing. June 7th, not here, 2 days before the event that's here, but June 7th at our temple, we have a very special Shabbat. It's our Beatles Shabbat. We've never done this before, but Wendy and Rich Tabak and a few of our other friends, musicians Chris Villa, they're going to be doing a special Beatles-themed musical Shabbat. So we really hope you can join us for that. That's June 7th. Lots of others. I mean, Wendy's going to be there May 3rd for Shabbat, but the Beatles Shabbat in June is going to be something you don't want to miss. It's a very special Shabbat. So we're still pouring. We're going to get a few more l'chaims out there. But join with us on page 147. Page 147 in the Haggadah. We always have to do the great Hallel. This is from the Psalms. This is Psalm 136. Where we say, Ki leolam chasdo, for God's goodness, God's love is forever and ever. Give thanks to the Lord, for God is good, for God's kindness is forever. Ki leolam chasdo. God struck Egypt's firstborn, Ki leolam chasdo, and brought Israel out of their midst, Ki leolam chasdo. With a strong hand and outstretched arm, Ki leolam chasdo. God split the sea of reeds, Ki leolam chasdo, and made Israel pass through it, Ki leolam chasdo. God hurled Pharaoh and his army into the sea of reeds. Ki leolam chasdo. God led his people through the wilderness. Ki leolam chasdo. God took note of us in our degradation. Ki leolam chasdo. And rescued us from our enemies. Ki leolam chasdo. God provides food for all living things. Ki leolam chasdo. For God's kindness is forever. And if you join with us on page 149, we're going to, does everyone have the Slivovitz? Oh, then let's have a l'chaim first. L'chaim, everybody, l'chaim, Chag Sameach, a Zissen Pesach, as we say in Yiddish, a Zissen Pesach. Oh, yeah. What do you think of that? Oh, Wendy, you don't want that? So hopefully that opened up your singing channels. Wow. So we get to chase that down now with the fourth cup of wine. So raise your cup for Kiddush for the fourth cup.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Amen.
L'chaim. Wow. Now that really should have opened up your singing. So tonight, on page 150, we want to mark the fact that this is a time now for us to count the days between now and Shavuot. And included in that will be some very festive holidays and also some very sad holidays, because we're going to, in about 2 weeks, commemorate Yom HaShoah, the Holocaust Remembrance Day. But as we said, there's also going to be some other fun stuff in there. We're going to celebrate Israel for Yom HaAtzmaut. We're going to celebrate Beetle Shabbat. We're going to celebrate 25 years at Temple Beth Ami. So there's a lot of things we're going to do during the Omer period that will bring us joy. But one of the things that's really special, again, is counting these days and making these days count. On page 150, as we thank God for this time between our festivals, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al sfirat ha'omer, hayom yom echad le'omer. This is now the first day of the Omer as we count down, as we go through the Omer. So we're going to now sing a song, which you can find on page 154. So this is Adir Hu. This goes back 500 years, actually closer to like 600 years now, to Germany. This beautiful song, and again, the translation's not in here, but the words Adir Hu starts with the Aleph and goes all the way through the Aleph Bet. Different ways of praising God, saying that God does great things, great miracles for us, and again, loves us, gives us wonderful, miraculous things. Adir Hu on page 154.
Adir Hu, Yivnei Beito B'Koro, B'mheira, B'yameinu B'Koro, El B'nei Beitcha B'Koro. Next verse. Bachorhu, Gadolhu, Tagohu, Yivnei Beito B'Koro, B'mheira, B'yameinu B'Koro, El B'nei Beitcha B'Koro. Down to the last one. Rachumhu, Shaddaihu, Takifu, Yivnei Beito B'Koro, B'mheira, B'yameinu B'Koro, El B'nei Beitcha B'Koro.
So one of the other songs that we traditionally do on page 155 is Echad Mi Yodea, the counting song, where we say, who knows one, right? One is God, right? Two are the two tablets, right? Three is somebody? The three fathers, that's right. Mark said it. Four are the four mothers, right? And we go through the five books of the Torah, six sections of the Mishnah. So we usually sing, we go all the way through 13, but we don't usually do all 13. We're going to do a few of them, and then we're going to go to 13 and work backwards. And of course, the goal is to try to do it in one breath, which is very, very hard to do, especially when you don't do all of them, because it's like a cold, it's like you have to go into it cold, right, Wendy? It's hard to do. Wendy's not going to do it. Don't worry, I will do it. But let's start on page 156. Echad mi yodea, Echad ani yodea, Echad Eloheinu, 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 Sheba shamayim uvaretz, Shnayim yodea, Shnayim ani yodea, Shnei luchot abrit, Echad Eloheinu, 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 Sheba shamayim uvaretz, Shlosha mi yodea, Shlosha אני יודע, שלושה אבות, שני לוחות הברית, אחד אלוהינו, 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 שבשמיים ובארץ. Now I'm going to ask you to turn to page 159. And we're going to do the 13, counting down the 13 attributes of God, the 12 tribes, the 11 stars in Joseph's dream, the 10 commandments, the 9 months of childbirth, the 8 days of Milah before the circumcision, the 7 days of the week, the 6 sections of the Mishnah, and then back through that. So now, as we do the Echad Miodea, I will try to do it in one breath. All right, I need to drink a little bit more just to open my singing channels. L'chaim. All right. Shlosha asar mi yodea, Shlosha asar ani yodea, Shlosha asar midaya, Shneim asar shiftaya, Chad asar kokvaya, Asara dibreya, I'm going to start from again. Asara dibraya, Tisha yerchelida, Shmona yememila, Shiva shimeshota, Shisha siremisha, Chamisha chamshketor, Arba imaot, Shlosha avot, Snei elchotabri, Echad Eloheinu, 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 Sheba shamayim uva'aretz. I think I needed one or two more. Anyways, that is the 13 as we went back all the way through from 13. It's not easy to do. You have to really, really build up to it. But we're going to do one more song here tonight, which is our very special way of doing Chad Gadya, the one goat. So now we're going to need everyone's help for this. And people are asking, were we going to do this tonight? Of course we're going to do this tonight. So we need to have everyone's participation. How many tables do we have, Tracy? 21. We have 21 tables. So we have to combine tables for this. So there's going to be tables, 2 tables that are going to do some of the sounds. So you have to pay attention. You have to be ready for your sound. So we are going to start. Wendy, where should we start? Which side? You're very good at this, Wendy.
I think we should make it in stereo.
Stereo? Wait, you mean have one of each side do one of the voices?
Like we need 2 goats for sure.
Oh, so you want to have it both?
The goats have to be stereo.
So you're going to do it on both sides? That's
So like this
unbelievable.
table and this table.
Okay, we'll try that. All right, so the goats, this table right here, you got to pay attention. Marla, you got to get into this, okay? Because your table, which has got a lot of Castaic people, want to hear Castaic make a lot of noise.
Wait, where's the Castaic?
Right there. That's the Castaic. Wendy, those are your people. So that's the goat. Again, by the way, we're on page 160 for Chad Gadya. The only word you need to know in Aramaic is Chad Gadya. That's the only words you need to know. The rest of it's in English. So that table and which table?
This one right here.
This table. Barton, the Barton Van Winkle table is going to do the goat too. All right. Then comes the cat. The cat table.
Wait, aren't we going to hear their sounds?
Oh, you mean you want them to practice?
Yeah, we need to practice.
Oh, my goodness. I don't think they need to, but let's let them. Okay. I trust the Van Winkle Barton family. I don't know about the Castaic people. But let's hear everybody together. Okay, Wendy wants to hear a rehearsal. Let's hear the sound of the goat, everybody. Those guys.
Sound of the goat.
What was that? We heard one table. Marla, where was your table?
Good. That was not good.
Marla, where was your table? Where's your goat?
We need to hear the goat sounds right here. Yes.
Okay, that's good. So you're together. Goat. All right. Then comes the cat. This is your theory, Wendy. Where you're the sound expert.
I heard one cat over there. And who else wants to be the cat?
Which table?
Okay, those two tables are the cat.
Okay, that's good. Then the dog. The dog comes and bites the cat. Who are the dogs? If you're at home when you're watching this, you can do this at home. You can do all the sounds if you're at home. If you're at home, you can be every sound.
Okay, good. We had some good dogs over there. The stick. Who wants to be the stick? Okay, stick. Let's hear the stick sound. Okay. The fire. Who wants to be the fire sizzling? Raise your hand if you want to be the fire table. No takers. Okay, I assign the Levine table. They're going to be the fire. And I only do that because that's one of the names I know. Water. We need the water table.
There's about 20 people. There's about 20 people that are still watching online at home. So if you're at home, you get to make all the noises. But here, we're almost done. We got water back there. There you go. Sound of the water. All right.
We need the ox. How about this table right here? You guys. Oh, we got the ox over there? Okay, what's the ox
Come on, we've got to get a good moo out of you. The good moo. Oh, that was fantastic. That was the best ox I've ever heard. I've never heard an ox with that much gusto. But then comes the slaughter. That's where it gets a little tough. You got to make the sound of the slaughter. Do you have the slaughter table? Where's our slaughter table? Wendy, you're signing.
Tracy's got it. Slaughter table in the back.
All right. Then we have the angel of death. The angel of death table. Now, I will tell you, no one wants to be the angel of death, but if you don't have the angel of death, you don't have life. So it's an important role to play. Angel of death.
Okay.
The last one is God. The last table will be the table of God. Okay, Trey, you get to choose the God table.
Who doesn't have a sound yet?
What? Everyone has a sound now? All right, I believe you. All right, now the chorus, of course. My father bought for 2 zuzim. How much is 2 zuzim? With inflation, that is still the cost of a goat. It has to be. So that's like $15 or $20 based on what I was told in the Near East right now. In the Near East, you can buy a goat for $20. Sounds like a good deal. All right, ready?
Oh, we have to do the sound of the money.
Yeah, that's cha-ching. Everyone has to do that. Everyone says the money. Ready? God,
yeah.
A goat.
My father bought for 2 zuzim.
Cha-ching.
God, yeah.
Then came the cat. It sounded like 50 cats just now. That's like a nightmare that I have. There's 50 cats in here. I'm saying that because my daughter's a cat lady, crazy cat lady. She already has 2 cats. She's only in her 20s. It's going to happen by the time she's 40. She's going to have cats everywhere. All right, then came the cat that ate the goat. My father bought for 2 zuzim.
God, yeah. I forgot the ka-ching.
Then came the dog. That bit the cat. That ate the goat. My father bought for 2 zuzim. Cha-ching. Then came the stick that beat the dog, that bit the cat, that ate the goat.
My father bought for 2 zuzim.
Cha-ching.
Yeah.
This is really, Wendy, it did work. The stereo worked. It's fantastic. Then came the fire that burned the stick, that beat the dog, that bit the cat, that ate the goat.
My
My
father
bought for two zuzim. Cha-ching! Chad Gadya, Chad Gadya. You know, one time I remember we did, for the two zuzim, we got up on the table and said, show me the money. Show me the money. Right, and we didn't. No, we can't do it every year, though. Anyways, the next one is the
water.
Water is going to quench the fire. Ready? Then came the water.
Lame.
Oh.
Take two.
Then
came the water.
Then came the water. Shh. It quenched the fire. That burned the stick. That beat the dog. That bit the cat. That ate the goat. My father bought for two zuzim. Cha-ching. Then came the ox. Oh, that was a good ox. It drank the water. That quenched the fire. That burned the stick. That beat the dog. That bit the cat. That ate the goat.
My father
bought for two zuzim. Cha-ching. I didn't hear the Van Winkle table on that last goat, I got to tell you. You guys were, the goat left the table. All right, so this is the time where you get to be the goat. And it's a good thing, right? You're the greatest of all time, the goat. So then came, ready, we're at the slaughter, the shochet. Then came the slaughterer. It's pretty good. They killed the ox. That drank the water. That quenched the fire. That burned the stick. That beat the dog. That bit the cat. That ate the goat. Yeah, that's better. My father bought for two zuzim. Cha-ching! Chad Gadya, Chad Gadya. Then came the angel of death. Wow. Very into death over there. Wow. Whoa. Who smote the slaughterer. Who killed the ox. Who drank the water. That quenched the fire. That burned the stick. That beat the dog. That bit the cat. That ate the goat. My father bought for two zuzim. Cha-ching! Chad Gadya, Chad Gadya. This is the last one.
That was the last one?
No, this is the last one. This is the last one. So we got to do it really good now. It's been very good. I think this is the best ever. What do you think, Wendy?
I think I loved a stereo.
I think it was a good call. Good call, Wendy. All right, now this is the last one, so everyone has to hear. Listen up. Then came the Holy One, God. Beautiful. Who smote the angel of death. Who killed the slaughterer. Who slaughtered the ox. Who drank the water. That quenched the fire. That burned the stick. That beat the dog. That bit the cat. That ate the goat.
My father
bought for two zuzim. Cha-ching. Chad Gadya, Chad Gadya. Oh, fantastic. That was fantastic. Thank you, everyone. That's what almost 200 people can do together when it comes to doing Chad Gadya. We're going to finish up now with one last song. This is one last line that we do, which is Leshana Haba Yerushalayim, next year in Jerusalem. And this year in particular, if we don't get to go to Jerusalem in the next 12 months, that maybe we get to go soon after that. And if we don't get to go there, then we hope and pray that Jerusalem will be a city at peace, that the people in Jerusalem won't have to worry about rockets and war and anything else. So let us pray for the holy city of Jerusalem, that it should be a city of peace. It should be a city where the whole world can come to in peace. So let's sing this song right now, Leshana Haba B'Yerushalayim. Next year in Jerusalem. Next year we'll be at peace.
Leshana Haba'a
Leshana Haba'a
Leshana Haba'a
Be'Yerushalayim Leshana Haba'a Leshana Haba'a
Leshana Haba'a Be'Yerushalayim Leshana Haba'a Leshana Haba'a Be'Yerushalayim Leshana Haba'a Leshana Haba'a Be'Yerushalayim Leshana Haba'a Leshana Haba'a Leshana Haba'a Be'Yerushalayim Leshana Haba'a Leshana Haba'a Leshana Haba'a
Thank you, Wendy. And again, thank you to Michael Carlin, who's been back here making sure everybody online could be here. And thank you to everyone here at the Senior Center. Let's pray for a rebuild, a safe Jerusalem, a safe Middle East. And again, let's pray for our hostages to come home tomorrow. So again, thank you everyone for being here. And again, have a Hag Pesach Sameach. Have a great Pesach, a great holiday. And let's be safe. All right? Thank you, everybody, for being here tonight. Mr. Koff.